Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Green Card with me, Katie Green. Today, I am speaking to the amazing Sergi Polo from Barcelona, a comic, a very good friend, and I can't wait for you to listen. If you like this, please subscribe. Welcome to the Green Card.
Hola.
Hola.
People tell me that I have a nice voice.
You do have a nice voice. Do you prefer your voice in Spanish?
Yes.
Yeah?
I prefer my voice in Catalan, actually.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Rank your voices. So you think in Catalan you have
I like Catalan,
sexiest
Spanish,
voice?
and English, yeah. I think I can listen to myself in English.
You can't?
No, I struggle a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really bad.
Because you don't find it sexy? Or what's the vibe?
It just changes. It's just like, I remember I was seeing like a clip from another podcast that wasn't good as obviously this one. It's one called Joe Rogan. And there was a guy saying that his wife speaks 3 languages, speaks like Spanish, French, and English or something like that.
Yeah.
And he was saying that like he's a completely different person.
In all 3
That's
languages.
true. I'm a different person in Catalan and Spanish and English.
It's really weird because I find that as well. Like when I speak Spanish to my grandma, she is a lot different than her in English.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it changes like the words we use, like the tone, the like everything.
Yeah.
And the way that you're like mean to people.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
you get angry or things like that.
When you were learning English, which portions of it did you find the hardest to like express yourself in? Anger?
When I had to go to the doctor.
Doctor
was a tough one. And then it was in general because I've learned English doing stand-up. So I would go to a gig and I didn't know how to speak with the promoter. And I just knew the English I knew at that time was just only my set.
Yeah.
So I struggled a lot with like I still struggle with pronouns a lot.
Yes.
And I have to be careful with people. Have to be careful.
There's a
with
lot to
pronouns.
remember though.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because in Spanish the verb has the gender. So you're just saying everything in one word. Where in English you have to add that.
Yeah.
And sometimes I just say the first one that comes to my mind. And the pronouns with ADHD is not a good mix.
Not a good mix for you.
No.
So going to the doctor was the hardest thing for you.
Yeah, because I had even remember my first year here, had an infection on my leg, and I had to go to the doctor, and I didn't know, I wasn't understanding what they were telling me, and I'm lucky enough that I have like 2 friends that are doctors in Spain, so they were helping me, but I just didn't know how to express pain. I didn't know at first how to express sharp pain, because in Spanish it's like me pincha. It's like something sharp.
Yeah.
But I didn't know how to express that, so I had to Google and like find a way to express sharp pain, and things like that, and also like the way you say the medicines.
Yes.
Because ibuprofen in Spanish is ibuprofeno, and I would go to pharmacies like, oh, do you have ibuprofen? And they would be like, what? Ibuprofen.
Yeah.
Paracetamol.
They're so close though.
Yeah, but
and also when you're sick, like I know how to say diarrhea in 7 different languages.
Okay.
No, that's a flex. IBS. Because you have to learn when you ask the pharmacy, and it's so stressful. I remember one time I had to explain to the pharmacist that like I was maybe in Thailand, and I was like, I had to point to my butt, and I had to be like, lots of stuff.
Have you seen, by the way, there is someone that had massive diarrhea on a plane and the plane had to go back to Atlanta?
No.
There was a plane from Atlanta to Barcelona. I don't know when you're going to release this, but this literally happened. It happened the 5th. So it happened like 2 days ago. A guy from Atlanta was on the plane, and I was seeing the video yesterday, like the aisle of the plane. Do you say the aisle?
Yeah.
Yeah. Was full of shit.
No.
And
all his diarrhea?
Yeah, it was a plane from Atlanta to Barcelona that had to go back to Atlanta.
But the toilet wasn't working?
I don't
Or
know.
he shit his
Probably like the
pants?
guy, which he just like shot himself on the way to the toilet, apparently. Yeah. It's insane. Imagine.
Oh, that would be a big fear of mine.
Everyone looking at you, and you can see like everyone with their hands on their face.
Oh my God. Yeah, that'd be.
Disgusted.
Because like smell is no. That's,
No, yeah.
That's a not.
No.
That's a big thing that I worry about with IBS. I'm like, I'm gonna be alone forever.
Does the smell of your shit bother you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Does it bother you?
Mine, no.
Yours, no, but other
It
people's.
does. Yeah.
Oh, but yours, no.
No, it doesn't bother the smell of mine.
Oh,
And I think that's I'm not a doctor, like
yeah.
I
It's
don't know about the
narcissism.
subject, but I've heard that like our own fart or like our own shit, the smell, it doesn't bother us because like we know that it's us, as in like there's something in it.
Oh no.
But
'Cause-
yours bothers you.
yeah.
Oh.
I just get. I'm like when I'm not feeling well or whatever. It makes me feel like I'm like I'm gonna be alone because no one can deal with this
Okay.
smell. Remember
No.
going to staying with you in Barcelona.
Yeah.
I was so stressed out because I'm like, oh my god, going to stay anywhere. I don't do well at other people's houses because I'm worried about the toilet.
Oh, and also I don't have a lock in my toilet in Barcelona. Remember?
I didn't remember that because I usually
Yeah.
let it know when I was in the toilet. Guys, I'm going to the bathroom.
Yeah,
I'm going.
it's weird when we have guests. They never say anything, but like whenever I go to other people's houses and they have like a lock in their toilet, I was like, oh, I never had one in my house. Sorry, we ended up talking about shit.
We
That's a
ended
very
up-
Catalan thing to do, actually.
Is it? Oh wait,
We-
hold on. Oh, I have my.
We love talking
I
about.
have my. You haven't seen my. I should take it out.
Can you explain what this
Explain it for those of you listening.
is? Okay, so basically in Spain, I think it's like in a lot of places you have the nativity for Christmas. Where you
Yes.
just put like
Baby
everything,
Jesus
like baby
and
Jesus with
yeah.
the mule and
Mhm.
like and the angel, blah blah blah. And in Catalonia, that we love to talk about shit. We have a figure that stays. That's Frida Kahlo, because you have like lots of options.
Yeah.
But we have a figure that's al Caganer, so it's like in the nativity you put like hidden behind the tree or something. It's usually like a farmer, someone like taking a shit. But there is this company in Barcelona that they started making like famous people figures like taking a shit, and that's Frida Kahlo taking a shit. So it's called al Caganer.
Yes.
And if you want to buy it, it's alcaganer.com.
There we go. Look
Yeah,
at that. We're not sponsored.
Yeah, we're not sponsored.
We're not sponsored,
it's
but we'd like to spread the shit around.
yeah, and when we went to Barcelona, Katie,
I had to do that. I
both
had to
won.
do that because
And
I just
it's-
felt like I felt like a way to connect. To remember that that Frida also used to shit. You know, Frida also maybe had IBS.
Yep.
It's beautiful. It's
Frida
beautiful
had
to think about.
ABS.
Yeah. That was one of her many illnesses that people don't talk about is her maybe IBS that Diego Rivera gave her because of stressing her out. Maybe. Who knows?
You don't know.
We don't know. What I wanted to talk to you about is Sergi gave me some dating advice and it didn't go well. So
I'm great at dating advice. Let's talk
I
about
put myself
let's talk
out
about
there.
dating advice. Someone can give you amazing dating advice, such as like the one I gave you.
you gave good dating advice.
But if the other person doesn't have interest, and I'm really sorry. No, maybe the other person does have interest, but it's like he's just
well,
playing
we're
it.
going to have to cut this all out.
Maybe the other person have interest. He's just like playing it, playing it smart or something.
I just don't. I just got dating advice I'm not good at. You were so good to be like, you put yourself forward. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. You were like, you should ask him on a date. And I was like, no.
I'm really good at dating advice.
Yeah.
I've done some massive dating in my life.
Oh my God. And you used to
Not
use the
anymore.
apps.
I use the apps.
You used to.
I had periods of my life that had like
Because I'm not good.
consistent-
You consistent on
lots
the.
of. I had 1 week. I had 6 dates.
1 week you had 6
You
dates?
know, yeah.
I haven't had that many dates in 6 years.
It was just a period that I had like, it was during the pandemic, like when everything was open.
Oh, okay.
But I had like a lot of time and I was like, let's do some massive dating. That just was like a very short period of my life.
Very short. But yeah, I'm not good at the dating apps. Remember you looked at my dating app one time?
I think it's also the advice I would give, it's from a straight guy. I know that like being a girl is completely different. It's completely different. Like dating apps are, men are useless. No, but I think in dating apps, men are more basic.
Yeah.
And I feel like girls are looking for something more deep, unless they're not. And then they're like very, very, I don't know how to say it, but like direct with it. So it's weird.
When you give dating advice, are you saying what you as a guy would have liked, or you were saying what a girl should do because you think that's better? What do you mean?
I feel like in general, I'm not saying that I know how people behave in life or like people want, but I've seen the code of like people using dating apps.
Yeah.
And I know when they want what they want to hear.
Yeah.
Because people are playing games, even if they tell you that they are not, or you feel like they're not. Everyone's playing a game there,
Yeah.
and you have to remember they are talking with other people.
Yes.
2, 3 more, maybe 5, maybe 7. So you have to do the same too.
I'm bad at that.
Yeah.
I'm so bad at that. I like one guy at a time. Sometimes
No.
even when I like someone, I have to say, I'm sorry, I can't. If someone else approaches me, I say, no, I have a crush on someone else.
I think it's like it helps a lot when it comes to dating apps because you don't know about the other person and the other person can just ghost you like this.
Mhm.
I think it's better to have like 2 or 3 at the same time. And then if you go on a date with one and you want a second one, then you might just like pause the other 2. But I think it's healthy
To have multiple.
if you're using dating app to have multiple, because then when someone ghosts you, it's not that painful.
Oh, that's
Because
good.
ghosting happens.
Ghosting, yeah.
And it's becoming like a big thing right now. In Spain, it was on the news
Really?
that now the percentage of ghosting is growing big time. Mainly men ghosting women. But like, and we're not talking about like just having a chat and that's it. Like going on a date, seeing each other for a year, having intercourse, shit like that, and then they would just disappear.
Oh, and so this is a new wave pandemic that we're living
Yeah.
with. Yeah, I
'Cause-
think it's a problem. I really don't like how dating is these days because it feels like this is why I don't like the apps, because it just gives people like the excuse to just stop responding like that.
Yeah, I feel like if as a generalization, men are looking for something specific.
Yeah.
Women don't want that, and they're like, no, you have to be nice, blah blah blah. And men to get there, they just go through like what women want, and when they get it, they don't give a shit anymore.
Yeah. You think that's what's happening?
That's a general thing.
I
yeah.
think that could be a possibility, but I think also the other side of possibility is that people have relied too much on the phone as a way to not communicate with people. Like
Oh,
it's
yeah.
like we're living through this time where you can communicate the most in any on different channels, different platforms. Yet because of that, we're somehow like communicating the least amount we've ever done because it's easier to, because you don't have to see. If I was dating somebody who lived in Finsbury Park or something, if I don't ever go to Finsbury Park, I'll never have to see him. So I could just not communicate. I could block him off everything, and then he's gone forever, unless I work with him, unless he's a mutual friend. And then, so I feel like people feel like they don't owe you anything.
Yeah, but because they don't owe you anything.
Yeah, but that's what's like. I feel like that's what's going. The problem with humanity now is that people are thinking that you don't owe somebody something, when it's like, well,
Yeah.
you do in some regard because you've had a connection with somebody.
We're just socializing more. I feel like we in one day we see more people than when they like our. I don't know where I heard that, but it's actually true. Like in one day, the amount of people that we see, especially if we live in a city, is like more people that would like people used to see in their lives like long ago.
But we see a lot of people, but we're not really. It's not making us more like community oriented. I see so many people all the time, but I don't speak to them or I don't know who they are.
Yeah, but we have like, yeah, I know what you mean. It feels weird. We are socializing in a different way,
Yeah.
I guess. And
I feel like we're not socializing as much because people are on their phones. People are disconnected. People can live a whole different life.
Yeah. But it's fun when you actually socialize and you realize you did, and you had like an evening with friends, and like you barely checked your phone.
Yeah,
And you're like, oh, that was nice.
I love unplugging. I hate when I get so much anxiety when I look on my phone because I always have so many messages, or when people message me and I don't know how to answer right away.
Right now, if we're socializing with someone that we don't like,
Yeah,
we just grab our phone and
Yeah.
we just like forget about it, when
And-
like before you would have to just deal with it.
yeah. Instead of
maybe
being
you
like, hey, I don't
discover
like you.
something. Yeah, and I feel that's dangerous.
I think it is dangerous. I think the way that the world is moving now, we're going into dangerous territory.
Yeah, I'm trying to be less with my phone.
I think I get it gives me. I would do if I could have somebody control my whole phone. That would be the best. That'd be my life goal.
Yeah, because I feel like with comedy, you just feel like, oh, maybe like they're calling me from a gig for a gig tonight.
Yes.
Maybe I'm missing like an email for a last minute for like a gig in a month that pays 400 quid.
Yeah.
Shit like that.
And things go like that. Like a lot of my gigs are last minute gigs, so I'm just always on the phone, always waiting for those messages. But it feels like because there's no distinction of like it's all on the same thing.
Yeah.
You get all the notes, and also people don't just email you. They go on Instagram, they message on Facebook, they text you. So you have to have it all open all the time, which makes it feel like you have to be open for everybody to reach out to.
Yeah, that's why I feel like now I'm trying to wake up and not using my phone when I wake up.
That's a good idea.
And just wait for a bit. And then think what I'm going to do before I open Instagram, for example. Why am I opening? Because sometimes you just open it automatically and you just like check around blah,
Yes.
blah, with like no goal.
Yes.
So I was like, no, it's fine if you open Instagram or like any social media to like do something specific. I'm going to message Katie.
Yeah.
I want to see this, I want to see that, or like I want to have like 10 minutes of like to see what my friends are doing, whatever, cool. But if you open it for no reason, that's when the problem starts.
Yeah.
And that's where I have the problem.
Sometimes like things will just get overwhelming for me, and I'll just go on do not disturb, and then I'll just be like, no, I can't. Nobody talk to me.
Because also the problem I have with my phone, and I don't know if it happens to you, because we live abroad. We have our family somewhere else.
Yes.
For me, the phone is my family as well.
Exactly.
Because like I speak with my mom every like 3 or 4 days, but like she calls me and my dad and my brother, blah, blah, blah. And every time, I don't know if it happens to you, but if you live outside your country, every time your family calls you, you're like,
it's an emergency.
Something happened.
Something happened.
Something happened. And then they call you like, oh no, it was just to check how you were doing. I was like, oh, okay. But every time, especially my dad, because he calls me like maybe once a month.
Yeah.
But when he does, I'm like, who's died? Who died?
So it's really scary because it's like and like being so far away. I feel that too. Like sometimes my mom calls me in the middle of the night and I'm like, what's going on? And she's like, oh, I'm just away.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm like, it stresses me out.
Yeah, I don't know if this happens as well to people who lives in the same country.
Yeah.
And their families.
I'm sure. But, I mean, maybe, but I think I think people underestimate how difficult it is moving country. I think it's in the beginning. It was fine for me. In the first like 6 months, I was like, oh, this is fine. And then the longer you stay, the harder it is, I think.
I think this is, I disagree with you here, but because we moved from like completely different countries.
Right.
And I moved from Barcelona to London. And sometimes I forget that I moved from one city to another, and the distance is like, it's not that big. It's like, it's a 2 hours flight.
That's not bad.
And if something happens with like a last minute flight, it might be like 150 quid.
Mm-hmm.
So if something happens, I can just go. If I need to go to Barcelona, I can go back tonight.
Right.
Or tomorrow morning. It's not the same for you.
No.
Not money-wise and not like time-wise. It doesn't take the same. So for me, it wasn't that hard because I could go very often. And I used to go like every 3-4 months. And that's not bad. This is something that like someone like you cannot do because it's like further away.
Yeah. And it's like if there's something that happens, it takes me, the quickest I can get there is about a day.
It's different. And I feel like for me coming here, it was like hard in some ways. But I knew that I had a wild card in my bag saying like, cool, if something happens, if I need to go back, I can go back tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it's fine.
Do you miss home a lot?
Not really.
Yeah.
I do miss my family. I miss my friends so much. But I moved here to do comedy. And I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing here in Barcelona.
No.
At all.
No.
So I'm really happy here. I live in a comedy club.
Yeah. That's
fucking amazing.
And it's one of the best clubs in the country.
World.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm just really happy there. It's just amazing. I've been saying like recently that I just realized my life is a documentary right now.
Yeah.
It's just like gigs, and then I go home. There's a gig there. I watch comedy. Go upstairs. And it's insane from the last couple of months the amount of big comics I've seen all the way to mine, or like imagine going to the kitchen on your PJs to grab something and you see Kevin Bridges, James A. Caster. One day Simon Amstel was there, and he asked me, he's like, "Oh, do you live here?" Blah blah blah, and I was like, "Yes." And he was like, "Is it good?" And I was like, "You're here, and like I'm talking to you right now on my PJs, and like yeah, and James is around, and like and all the like big comics or like even comics that I perform very often with, they're just always around."
Yeah.
Katie, when like she came to the room,
Yeah, I know.
and when she comes, she just comes to my room and say hi.
Now it feels
love
like
it.
I'm home now.
Yeah.
I think that's the coolest.
live in a
What a
comedy
comedy
club.
journey to like
Yeah.
be living in a club and being able to perform there regularly.
And when I tell people in Barcelona, they're like, "Oh, where are you living?" And it's like, "I live in a comedy club." They're like, "Whoa,
That's so cool.
that's insane!" It's really cool. I love it.
It's so cool.
It's amazing.
What do you miss the most from home?
The life.
Like the tranquility or the
the way we live there. Now in the neighborhood where I live, it's a bit similar. But in Barcelona, I used to live in Gracia. You've been to my house, and it's a place where it's like we don't have houses. I feel like in this country, you have too many houses, more buildings. You need buildings because when you have a building, you have people living on top.
yeah.
And then at the bottom, you have all the services. So it's like I have a fruit shop literally in front of my house with a bus stop. And then around the corner, there's like supermarket. There's like 3 cafes. And I don't live in like in a fancy zone. It's like everything is there. And then my grandma's house is like 5 minutes away. And my
Yeah.
school was like 10 minutes away. And it was like everything was really close. So I remember in Barcelona when I was going to school, or even my mom, you would go to your house like 3 times a day. Like you go somewhere, you go back to your house, then you go somewhere else, you go back to your house. Here in London,
no way.
you just go somewhere and you do the whole day outside and then you come back.
Yeah.
I miss that. The life. Yeah, but what I miss the most, and when I speak with like especially Spanish people here in the UK, what we miss the most is the way like the days here go by like really fast.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah, really fast.
Because you're always out or what?
Yeah, you can enjoy your day there.
Yeah. The longer you stay here, are you more homesick or do things annoy you more? Because I used to love like British people and British culture, but the longer I stay, I'm like to some things.
No, I think the longer I stay, the more I want to be here.
Yeah.
I just feel like I don't know where I'm gonna. Whenever I'm retired, I'm 27. I don't know where I'm gonna retire, to be honest, in my life. But whenever I do, I really want to do it in Barcelona.
Yeah.
But the rest of my life, I really want to be here.
Yeah.
I'm just very happy. It's just because right now comedy is everything I want to do. So everything is here. And now I feel like I started longer than what people think, but at the first years I was really, really bad and I didn't speak the language, so I couldn't socialize.
So you moved over here and no English.
No English. I remember when I met you.
Where?
And when I met you again, one of the first times I met you, you knew me, but you didn't know my name. And you made me write my name on the first time I met Katie. He was like, "Hey, how are you?" And I was like, "Good." It's like, "Oh, I have to put you in the lineup. I don't know how to spell your name. Can you write it down, please?" And I was like, "Yeah, of course." And I looked at her and I was like, "Katie, can you tell me my name?" And she was like, "No." And I was like, "Oh," and I wrote it down. Sergi Polo. By the way, do you know Sergi Polo is not my real name? Do you know that,
Yeah,
right?
but I can't remember what your real name is.
My real name is Sergi Núñez de Prado Martorell.
And why did you pick Polo?
Because Núñez de Prado is a very long surname.
Yeah.
Also, the U has like the tick on top.
Yeah.
And the N is like the Spanish N with the
Yeah.
wave on top. Martorell is like hard to pronounce for people. And yeah, people wouldn't be able to pronounce it here. And they already struggle with Sergi.
Yeah.
And then I put Polo because Polo was the second surname of a girl I liked when I was a teenager. And when I added her on Facebook, her name was whatever. This is the first, because you know that in Spain we have 2 surnames.
Yeah.
So the first one was another one, let's say Martinez.
Yeah.
And the second one was Polo. But I didn't know that, and I found out when I added her on Facebook, and I was like, "Oh my God, your second surname is Polo?" And she was like, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, that's so cool." And when I was looking for a stage name, I was in between. You're gonna laugh now. I was in between Sergi Polo or Sergi Mate. Mate, like the tea, but it's not from the tea. Do you know what was it from?
No.
It was from the movie Cars. Mate, the
Mater?
the
The tow truck?
yeah, the tow truck. Yeah, it was from that. And I'm so happy he didn't choose that.
Yeah, oh my God.
How do you say it in English?
Mater, I think.
Mater.
I think that's his name.
Because yeah, in Spanish it's mate.
It's mate.
Mate. And
And
he,
so-
he does a joke that I find it very funny that he says, my name is Mate. It's like in Spanish, tomato is tomate.
Yeah.
It's like tomate, but without the toe. And it made me laugh so much. Do you get it?
Yes, I get it.
Yeah. So I was in between that or Polo, and I think Polo was like very commercial and shit like that. And it was very easy.
Wait, so this girl, that's crazy. This girl's had a big influence on you.
She knows that my stage name is because of her. She doesn't know that I liked her.
Oh, until now.
Well, I don't think she even follows me or anything.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is taking a crush to a whole new level.
Yeah,
I'm
and
going to
also
change my last name.
It's a beautiful story. You can't change your last name, Katie. People will think that you guys are married.
And that's not a problem for me. I always wanted to change my last name because I don't like my last name because it's...
Katie Green, I think it's nice.
Well, I don't like it. It's my father's last name and I don't have a relationship with my father.
Okay.
So
What's your mom's?
My mom's last name is Wheatley. It's very British. I wanted to be Garcia. It's my grandma's maiden name.
Garcia would have brought you. You'd be shining right now if you were Garcia.
I know. Katie Garcia.
Katie Garcia.
Yeah.
The problem you have now is that everyone knows it's Katie Green. You cannot change it now.
Yeah, but I'm thinking to just drop it. I want to be like, maybe eventually I'll just be Katie G. Because like Carol G or Becky G.
Katie G, I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could work. I feel like when I did the name changing from Sergi Nunez to Sergi Polo, I changed it everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it took like a year for people to get used to it. But now it's fine. But when you still have like Facebook in one name and like Instagram in another one, it's very confusing.
Very confusing.
But it's so funny when I meet like a very old friend and they call me Nunez.
Yeah.
When someone calls me Nunez, I'm like, hey.
Wow, I still can't believe you moved over here and not speaking English. I think that'd be so...
Yeah, it was... I just wanted to give it a try. The initial idea was like just doing a year or something. Because I wanted to do here and then go to New York and then come back.
So you learned English through way of stand-up.
Yeah, I used to write my jokes in English, then translate them using Google Translate. And then going on stage until I made like English friends.
I find it really scary when you don't speak the language and you have to, like, I used to know a girl at work who only spoke Spanish and she'd been living here for a long time. And I'm like, how do you do it though? It's
doable. I know people who doesn't speak English that lives in London and they've been here for a while. It's doable. You just struggle and you always like need help, but you can communicate. You have Google Translate if you need something specific.
so stressful though.
It's because like they live with people that speaks that
Other,
language,
yeah.
and they just have to do like their like other social life in English, but they don't need to. If they need to go to the doctor, they would grab a friend that speaks English
Yeah.
and can translate and shit like that. Or like they have kids and the kids speak English, so they don't need to learn. And also, I have to say, when you're older, when you're like in your 50s or something, it's not as easy to learn a language.
No, I think was it say after 27, your brain stops, like, I think it's 27 or either 21 or 27.
Oh shit, I'm 27 now. What am I missing?
It's a lot harder to learn a language because of like, when you're young, your brain can...
It's like a sponge.
Yeah, it's a sponge and you can learn languages really good. That's why it's so important to teach your kids another language.
Yeah.
When they're young, because they can pick it up really easily.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know how you feel about that, but sometimes I feel like I don't speak enough languages and I speak 3. 2 of them really well and the third is English. And I don't think my English is really good, but that's the worst I can do. So, and the other 2 is like Catalan and Spanish. And I feel like that's not enough. And it's crazy for me when I meet like someone that only speaks one language.
Yeah.
I'm like, how can you do that?
I know. It's even like I I just like connecting with people on a different, like the joy when you speak to somebody. This happens for me with when I speak Portuguese a lot. When someone's like really trying to speak, and then you're like, oh, I can understand you and your native language, and they're like, oh, thank God.
Yeah, because I feel like Portuguese and Spanish, especially Portuguese from Brazil, is very similar to Spanish.
Very similar.
But yeah, I just said that, by the way, but like I have to say also I was lucky because I was born in Barcelona, so I would speak Catalan and Spanish, and then I moved here.
Yeah.
To do the English
but it
thing.
is like, I feel the wanting to speak more languages. I feel like I'd like to just spend time in his place, because that's the best way to learn, to just immerse yourself and be there.
When I've learned the most is when I started working at the West End and all my colleagues were English. And that was like a game changer. I was like, oh, I have to speak English right now.
Remember I told you that I studied in Spain for a summer, and I fully immersed myself, and people were like annoyed at me. People on the program were like, can you speak English to us? And I'm like, no.
I feel like, why would you?
I don't understand why you would.
Spain,
yeah.
Like, we're here. If you want to speak English, go to England. It happened to me a couple of times where like people here, they're like, yeah, no, let's speak in Spanish. And obviously it depends of the context.
Yeah.
I'm fine. But sometimes if someone wants to learn or something and they're like pushing me all the time to speak in Spanish, I'm like, go to Spain if you want to learn Spanish.
Yeah.
Especially when I was learning. Right now I wouldn't mind.
Yeah.
But when I was learning, I was like, no, I'm here to learn English.
Did you do classes at all?
No, I did like some speaking lessons with an American guy before like a month before I came, just to have like some basics. It didn't help very much, to be honest. But no, not at all.
So you just learned as you went?
Yeah. I would just use the Google Translate for like basic words, and I would just remember them. And then I wrote my set and I had to memorize it word by word. So because I knew what I was saying, I started memorizing those words. So that's how I've learned. I was so obsessed with comedy that, and because I really wanted to do it, the way to do it was having to learn English. And I was like, cool, if I have to learn English to do this, I'll do it. And I was learning English when I was doing it. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how obsessed I am.
Wow.
It's not, like, I feel like most comics, is not healthy, our relationship with comedy.
Yeah.
And like everything we do related to comedy. In that case, this obsession made me learn a whole language.
Yeah.
Which is fucking amazing.
That's amazing.
Yeah, my English was shit. My English was really bad.
I have some questions that I like to ask my guests.
How can I help you? Oh shit, you have a...
I have some questions here.
Okay.
Would you like to go to El Salvador?
Say it again?
Would you like to go to El Salvador?
I would love to go to El Salvador.
All
I really
right.
want to travel.
Yeah?
But I want to travel doing comedy.
Yeah, I want to go on tour.
I don't want to travel without...
Yeah.
And I feel like I could, touring in Spanish, Catalan, and English, I could just go wherever in the world, to be honest.
Easy.
I just need to have an hour. But it's going to happen.
I'm going to ask you a question, and we're going to get so much more closer than we already are.
First question.
Is there something that you've dreamed of doing for a long time, and why haven't you done it?
Yeah, I've dreamt doing a tour in the 3 languages, and I'm just, if I haven't done it yet, it's because I want to be like, I want the show to be
amazing.
Yeah. It takes longer because I know like people doing like with the same amount of years doing comedy than me, they already had like 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I barely have 20 minutes.
Right.
But I have solid 20. And I'm proud of what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So I'm just like taking my time. And if I haven't done it, it's because I could be a bit less lazy, but also because I want to do it properly.
With comedy though, there's always like, I can do more. I can do, because that's how I feel. I want my Spanish set to be amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start doing stand up in Portuguese, and I like lose confidence. Do you ever find this when you're speaking like English? Do you ever find that you lose confidence when you're speaking?
All the time. If I don't have it scripted, as in like if it's not a joke that I wrote, when it comes to crowd work or shit like that, I'm not confident.
But like even in conversation,
not
sometimes if there's a microphone in front of me, like I feel like I can't speak Spanish. Like I can speak.
Yeah, especially when it's like a conversation with like 2 other English people. I struggle a lot with that. So it's like if they're like if you're with another English speaker.
Yeah.
I struggle a lot to be in that conversation because you guys speed up a lot and you just like use more slang, and I struggle a lot with that. And I wish I could be on the stage like and with the same amount of confidence that I have when I do comedy in Spanish.
I wish I could do the same, but like, I wish I could be this. In me, if I had the same confidence and level in English and Spanish, I'd be unstoppable.
Oh, same. I feel in Spanish. Don't know if you remember, like the first time we did like did them sing or something.
Yes.
I started getting offers for like IMCs and everything when they saw me singing in Spanish, and I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. In Spanish, let's be honest, I can MC a gig in Spanish.
Yeah.
I'm good at that. But because I had like 10 years in my back of doing our magic shows and weddings.
Oh my God, I can't believe we haven't.
Oh, we haven't spoke about this. Okay, hold on. But I have in my bag 10 years of like weddings, birthday parties.
Yes.
Really shitty gigs that I had to do 1 hour by myself doing magic tricks and doing crowd work. So then when we did the Spanish gig and I MC it in like a proper comedy room, like in the right context with like people paying tickets that they were super supportive and excited that they were watching that. Mm-hmm. I MC'd that. That was amazing.
Ser
Magic. That was me. So that's why I was like, we just had this confidence to MC in English. Because
it's really hard. It's so weird how the confidence level changes, because sometimes when I speaking Spanish, I feel like I become a 5-year-old girl. I'm like, huh? Or something like in certain settings, like my Spanish is great. Like if I'm like annoyed at something, or like when I talk to like the people at work, like sometimes I just like I'll sit in the with the cleaners and I'll just be talking to them for like probably longer than I should.
Yeah.
Then my Spanish is great. Like when it comes to chisme, oh my God.
She loves chisme. Chisme's gossip.
When it comes to the I am so chismosa. Like that, like certain things like that. Oh, my Spanish is perfect because I'm like, you gotta.
You have an interest.
Yeah,
that's why I've learned English.
Yeah,
because I had the interest in comedy. You had the interest to like know who is Alfredo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I want to know. Who he is.
Who is Alfredo? Where does Alfredo live?
I want to know who's pregnant.
Yeah.
I want to know who's sleeping with who.
Yeah.
I want to know everything.
Yeah.
If you frame it as chisme, then I'm like, I am fucking in there. Oh my God.
You feel stupid when you speak when you try to have like a serious conversation in a language that is not the one you used when you were
yes.
born.
When it was in terms of serious conversations, it's really hard.
Yeah. Do you have a second question?
Yeah, but we didn't talk about your magic.
Okay.
So are you, because you're a magician, is it easy for you to lie to people?
Well, I lie on my set a lot.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I've always thought you had a twin sister.
I always feel like people get shocked. I do a set and I lie. I talk about having twin sisters. I talk about like a lot of things about my family that aren't true at all. And I talk about having a nephew, and I don't have a nephew. The only thing I said on my set that it's true is that I'm from Barcelona. And people, like, they're shocked. And I'm the opposite. I'm shocked that people talk about real issues. There is nothing better than doing a gig in Barcelona and having like my mom over, my brother, and my brother being like, what is he going to say about me now? And like, he's just ready to laugh.
Yeah.
And same with my mom. If I said the truth, I wouldn't like them to come to the gig.
Yeah.
I would feel really uncomfortable because people would talk. Because people messaged my mom. Like one day I posted a joke about being my mom's birthday, and people started messaging my mom about the birthday. And my mom was like, no, it's not my birthday. And it was super funny because my mom was like, Sergi, I'm just getting like happy birthday messages. And it's like, it's not my birthday. And I find this funny. But if it was something that was true, that something happened, and people would message my family. Like, for example, my dad had like, he had issues in his life, and I don't want to talk about them.
Yeah.
Because then people would know, and this is like something private. So I would rather make a joke. I would rather make like a worse joke about my dad being an asshole, or my dad doing something really bad, or something like this. Because then he comes and he sees and is like, oh, you said this about me. And it's just a laugh. Because we know it's not true. That's what I find funny. Because then I have people that they just talk about like divorce, or like having issues with the family, or hating their like brother-in-law or sister-in-law. And then they go to the gig.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have a problem in there.
Yeah,
no.
It is a problem when you start telling the truth.
I would rather like having a joke about hating my sister-in-law, and then she comes and I'm be like, hey. But that's it.
Oh, see, yeah. So, because for me, I talk the truth a lot, or most of my stuff is truthful.
Yeah.
Which is like, it's I guess it makes it difficult because it makes people feel like they can't. It's hard to be around.
Yeah.
If you're if you're not in the comedy world. And also you get the difficulty of perspective of like people being like, well, that's not what I meant by that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel like no one wants to be around someone that you know that they can write things about you and just say
Yeah,
it on the stage.
yeah, it's hard.
Because also like, because I had like something similar that happened, and I was like, well, I'm glad it's not true. So it's like I can still do it. Because I wrote a joke about dating someone with a nipple piercing.
Yeah.
And it was a very silly joke, but I liked it. And I wrote it like before I started dating this girl.
Yeah.
And that she had the nipples pierced, and it ended up really, really bad. And one of the last things she told me was like, "Anna, you cannot do this joke anymore." And I was like, "Listen, I wrote this joke before I saw you. It's not about you. It's just about like dating someone with like a nipple piercing." And she was really mad. And I still do the joke, but because it's not about her, so it's fine. But the problem, what I think about this is like, if it was, that would be a problem.
Gosh, wow. But do you find as a magician, is lying easy for you in conversation?
I'm really good at lying.
You are?
I'm a great liar.
Really?
Yeah, I lie a lot.
How do you do that? Because I'm really bad at lying.
You just have to believe it.
You have to believe the lie that you tell?
If you tell a lie like enough times, and it will end up being true.
So when you're lying,
I'm not saying like I'm a compulsive liar and like super liar, blah, blah, blah. But like if there is something I remember, I don't know where it was. There was a lie. Oh yeah, there was a lie in that everyone thinks it's true. But so basically I did magic and I was in the final of like Spain's Got Talent.
Yeah.
When I was 15. But that's not actually truth. That's what everyone starts talking about. Because I explained this story to someone once. And what I actually said was I was a magician and I was in the final of the program of Spain's Got Talent, not to the official final. So I got yeses, and then I got to the final of that episode to see if I was going to be like on the official final.
Yeah.
And I didn't make it to the official final.
Oh.
But then people started like asking about this, and I was just started being like, yes, I was in the final. Yes, I was in the final. And then that's one of the lies actually that is like, and I'm not hiding or anything. I wasn't in the final of like the official final. I was in the final of the episode.
Yeah.
It's one of these lies that when people ask me, to be honest, when I tell people, I just say it that way. I say that I was in the final because I was
it's easier.
It's easier. It's the lie that's been told. It's not a big deal. They cannot find out. I'm fine with it. And if someone finds out because they listen to the podcast, I will be like, yeah, it's true. It's like, what does it matter? It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's my magic career, not my stand-up career. So
yeah.
Now when people ask me, I say the final of Spain's Got Talent because like, it's what everyone knows. I'm like, I'm going to match it with everyone and I don't mind.
Right.
And it's a lie that I'm like, I don't care.
Okay, that's all right thing to lie about, I feel like, because it's basically the truth.
You just have to believe it. Now I believe I was in the final of Spain's Got Talent, and that's it. And when people ask me, it's like, yeah, I was there. But I wasn't. I was in the episode. Whatever.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And what made you get into magic?
My grandma. She took me to a magic show to see my favorite magician. That was a guy called McLary, and he made me fly one day. And it was really cool. And then my birthday was like 2 months after that, and she got me a box of like magic tricks. And I rehearsed them. I did like them in front of my family because I have a big family. My dad has 8 siblings, and every single one of my uncles and aunties, they gave me a fiver, and with that money, I bought more magic tricks, and I started like building a show, and I started doing like birthday parties and communions and shit like that, and I started getting like bigger and bigger. Yeah, it was fun.
Would you go back to it?
No.
No?
It's my past. I still have some. I don't know if I show you when you came to Barcelona, but I still have like the magic tricks, and I have like the linking rings.
Oh yeah, you didn't show me those.
I have some stuff in Barcelona. I keep like the ones that I loved.
Okay.
I have like a jumbo cards that they would like change, and it's really cool. I have like basic stuff. My favorite tricks, I still have them in Barcelona.
And are you in a magic society?
I used to be, yeah.
Is that like a private members club?
It's not private. You have to pay. And everyone can join, but like not everyone can join. Like
okay,
they say that they do like an exam, but it's not an exam. You just have to do a magic trick to them. But they also like ask you questions to see like how interested are you in magic? Because then when you go to that, like when you go to the meetings that they do, like they all share the tricks and everything. So nothing is like super secret. Because at the end, right now, to be honest, everything is on the internet. So if you want to know how a magic trick is done, you can find it there. But you need to have the interest.
Right.
So that's what they are checking more than anything else. To see if you're good or bad. If you have like good interest there, you're in.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you learned a lot from them?
Yeah. It was a bit like the society was like a lot of like old man, all white man.
Oh, that's crazy. You've come a long way from your magic past.
Yeah, magic past.
And you liked Harry
then
Potter.
Comedy. Yeah. A bit. I changed my life. I saw it the whole thing this Christmas for the first time.
Really?
Yeah, and I watched them in English, which is completely different. Because in Spain we watched it dubbed.
Oh yeah.
And then I was like, ooh.
Okay.
When I watched it in English, I was like, and I'm sorry to say that, but I was like, fuck, Harry Potter is a really bad actor.
Oh, but you thought he was good when
I
he
thought
was
it
dubbed?
was good when he was dubbed. And then I started in English, I was like, what the fuck is he saying? What the fuck is this? He's bad.
That's funny. He's good when it's not you. He's not using his voice.
Yeah, definitely.
I used to think that that when things were dubbed, it was the actor doing a different language. I'm like, God, they're so talented.
No.
I was like, I was like, wow, that's
No.
crazy. How did George Clooney do that? That'd be a hard job, I think.
Yeah.
Because you got to do the voices too.
Now that I speak English, I feel like it shouldn't exist because if you dub a movie, you miss lots of things.
Yeah.
Like for example, that movie, I always say it wrong because the title in Spanish is different. How is that movie that is about twins that one lives in London, the other one in California?
Parent Trap.
Parent Trap.
Yeah.
I watched this for the first time in like dubbed in Spanish. And you miss the most important thing, which is like the accents that she does, because it's one girl.
You know what? For most of my life, I thought Lindsay Lohan had a twin.
I think a lot of people probably.
And I was like, where is her twin? And why? She must be doing so much better because Lindsay had a hard time. Lindsay was really struggling. And I'm like, God, her British twin must be doing so much better. Must have stopped acting. Must have got a real job. Must have done. I created this whole life for her. I'm like, God, why don't we hear about her?
Did you think that the twin was the British one?
Yeah. I thought, I thought there were two.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of people did as well. But because the thing is, I think someone told me really early on when I watched the movie that it was the same.
Nobody
actress.
told me.
But the thing is when I watched that movie in English for the first time, I was like, oh my God, it's it two different accents?
So in the one when you listen in Spanish or Catalan?
Spanish.
So they don't do a little bit of different.
And they could do it. They could do use a Latino accent and then Spanish from Spain, and they don't do it, and it pisses me off. It happened as well with the movie The Holiday.
Oh yeah.
You have British actors and American actors, and there's it's very important.
Yes.
In the movie that it has to be you have British people talking to Americans and American talking to British. It's this is gorgeous. It should be amazing. And they don't do it. They dub it and they just do the same accent with everyone, and it just loses the whole thing.
Yeah.
And also sometimes you see movies that it's an American actor doing a British accent or the other way around, and the work that they've done is amazing. And with if you dub the movie, you just
all
fuck
lost.
it up.
I don't like dubbing. I prefer subtitles, but I just God, I remember I was dating this guy. What? Oh, I was really into Narcos. I was obsessed with
What? Narcos.
Yeah. Was so
Plata o plomo.
Yeah. I was so into Narcos. I was watching it all the time, and I was seeing this guy, and I was like, oh my God, have you seen Narcos? It was so popular. And he was like, nah, I don't like to read. And I was like, what? And he's like, yeah, I don't like reading. And it took me a while to realize he was talking about the subtitles. Yeah. I'm like, wow, I have bad taste. This guy is like, I don't like to read.
But you can watch it dubbed.
So I think we went. I think I might have gone over his house once, and then he started watching something dubbed, and I'm like, no, I can't do the dub. I can't do it.
Yeah, no, a lot of people can. I have friends that they're like, no, that I literally just that's what something else.
Yeah, I'd rather with the subtitles than
just you lose a lot of things. I love The Office, and I'm back again watching it, and one day just put it in dubbed in Spanish to see how it was, and it's if The Office is 100% funny, dubbed is like 2% funny. It just loses everything. It's like the tone and everything. But I think like sometimes it just doesn't work, and it can be like disrespectful.
It can
like
be disrespectful. Like remember when Bad Bunny, when there was a big whole thing because Bad Bunny we sung at the Grammys, it was subtitled on national TV in the U.S. non-English when he was singing, which is like, it's like it was just so rude because they just put. He's singing in non-English.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was really bad, really bad.
I didn't heard about that.
Yeah.
Did he get mad?
Yeah, I think because people got mad, the community got really mad. But I think he's also somebody who was really like proud of Puerto Rico and and he's very in the beginning of his career was so adamant in speaking Spanish and not conforming to like the English speaking audience. It's changed a little bit because of Kendall Jenner, and he's changed a bit more, but he's somebody that's was always very proud.
Okay.
And so that massive opportunity for a Latino singer to be singing at the Grammys and for it to be like captioned as non-English was really bad.
I wish people had the time to translate Bad Bunny's songs and understand the lyrics.
Yeah.
Because maybe they like it more, or maybe they like it less.
Well,
Si tu novio no te mama el culo, por eso que no mame.
He's revolutionary.
Yeah, definitely.
He is, yeah. Yeah. I
What a guy.
What a guy. I used to have a joke about this, and I'm going to revisit the joke.
Revisit it.
I'm going to revisit it now. I'm going to ask you this last question. What do you value most in a friendship?
Love and affection.
In a friendship?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just trying to see what I love about my friends. Like the closest ones. And it's just like they care. You see them caring about you and you care about them. And you want them to do well, like whatever they do. And I admire them so much. And they admire me as well, like what I'm doing. And I love what they do.
I love that.
I think it's really nice.
Love and affection. We're here for it. Is there anything that you want to plug?
I want to plug. I can plug. I have like, if you speak Spanish.
Yeah. There's some people that do.
Called Los de Londres.
Yeah.
And if you like one lines, I put all of them on my Insta.
On your Insta.
Sergi Polo _.
Well, muchísimas gracias.
Muchas gracias, Katie.